Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer to help you get ready for Week 12 of the NBA season by helping you break down the waiver wire, see who's worth picking up for season-long ads, and maybe just some streaming. If you've watched before, you know the way I do it is they have to be available in at least 50% of Yahoo leagues. That way, it's helpful for the most people. But I do have a couple names I want to start with that are a little bit over that threshold just to get into. Alec Burks is 51% rostered, so he just misses the cutoff. But New York has 3 games this week, and all 3 are on good streaming days. So while 3 games is a disadvantage rather than like a neutral, I guess, like it normally is, because so many teams have 4 and Memphis has 5 games. 3 is not great, but if they're all on streaming days and you're just trying to pick up and plug them in, Alec Burks could be pretty useful. You know, it's him and Kemba splitting the time there, and Quickly, who we'll talk about later. I also considered Larry Nance, but he's above that threshold, 54%. Portland does not have a great, they've got 4 games, but none of them are on the streaming schedule, or the good days to stream on this week's schedule. But he's useful, and I could see you using him all season long, depending on, you know, if you need this kind of big. So he made the list. And then Omer Yurtseven, we talked about him last week. He's at 53% rostered. He's still playing well. So just wanted to mention again, in case you didn't take that look. The top guy on my official waiver list for the less than 50% is actually a cheat. I'm cheating already. Also 51% rostered. It's Diallo. Yesterday when I was researching this, he was 43% rostered. Then a bunch of people picked him up, but he's 51%. And I kept him there because he's the one I'm most excited about. I mentioned him last week, saying it was a bad week for Detroit then, but you might want to get him, jump on him. Hopefully you did. He's still playing really well, as you can see. You know, his last game, 34 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. And whenever you see 5 steals, you want to say that's not going to keep up. The game before, 31, 13, 4 assists, 4 steals. The game before that, 3 steals. The game before that, 2 steals. The game before that, 5 steals. So he's really great in category leagues for that purpose, but he's great in all formats if he's going to be this use. 51% rostered. It should be way higher. The stat on my screen right now is saying he jumped 46% in the last day. That's crazy. It also doesn't seem right. It was 43% the day before. Anyway, he has spiked since we talked about him last week. That's definitely where I want to start. Even though he's over 50%, he should be rostered in all leagues. Number 2 on my list should be a quickie. It's Terrence Mann, 43% rostered. Not great for this week. The Clippers have 4 games, but you're not really going to get to use them on streaming. I think they've only got 1 of 4 are good for streaming days. But I mentioned him last week that he's going to be a hot pickup with Paul George out for an extended period of time. But when I mentioned him, I had him on my watch list. I was being a little skeptical. Now he's proved some more to me. He's playing well, 43% rostered. I'm surprised it stayed that low. Now I'm willing to go in there because if he keeps this up, we're, 19-3 is not exciting. I'd rather that be in a points league where you're not counting on categories. But before that, he had 18-11, 17-5. I always wish there would be some more assists. There's not, so I'm a little more interested in points league. But he's going to get a lot of run. His minutes were staying consistent. They were this high before, so his usage has just gone up a little bit. I think he's worth a look, but he's not going to be super useful this week if you're just trying to stream for it. But he's also more talented. So it depends on what you're looking for. And that different way could be the third guy on my list. Aaron Wiggins has exploded for OKC. He's 23% rostered. Now, the box scores look about the same as Terrence Mann, but watching it, it's been exciting. He's been getting you some more rebounds. Last game was 13-4. That was a little bit tamer. Before that, he had 22-8, 14-5. The big one on the 26 was 24-6. He's getting you some threes. He's getting you some steals. The difference between him and Terrence Mann as far as your fantasy thing, right? You pick up Terrence Mann, whether it's a good week right now or not, you're probably going to get this good stretch with Paul George out where you can use him like this. Aaron Wiggins, I don't exactly know. He's getting this run right now because they're dealing with the health and safety protocols for OKC. When everyone's back, I feel like he's proved himself enough to be in the rotation, but I'm not there. I don't know the coaching staff. He might drop back out or get down to 6 minutes a game, in which case you can't keep him. So if you don't want to go for him, that's why he came after Terrence Mann, because you might be getting in a little too late if you scoop him up now. They've only got 3 games this week. They're not great streaming days, so it doesn't pop like some of the other guys on this list. And so I don't know. I want to bring him up because it's been a good story and he's been playing well, and I'm excited for him, and OKC always wants to get young guys in there, but it might not be super effective this moment, you might actually just want to put a watch list on him. Wait till maybe the end of the year when OKC's pretty much out of it. But when the rotation changes a bit more, maybe he'll start to get some run again, and you just will remember this name as a deep sleeper push for the end of the season. But I think it's fine to take a flyer on him now. Jalen Smith for Phoenix, I'm a little more confident in you using this very week. So while I was maybe hedging my bets a little on Aaron Wiggins because of schedule things and people coming back, Jalen Smith, I think, has some run right now. They're down without Ayton and without JaVale McGee. He's been getting increased minutes and he's playing well. 15-9, 11-14, 19-7, getting some blocks sprinkled in there. No big explosions, but he's 20% rostered. So he's available in 80% of leagues. Phoenix only has 3 games, but all 3 are on good streaming days this week. So if you pick him up, you can definitely get him into your rotation, and he's widely available. He is the type of guy who can help in category league, get you some extra rebounds out of nowhere, and in points league can just contribute because he's playing on low volume days. So if you're just trying to win right now, I would definitely give Jalen Smith a look. I should offer the caveat. Anytime I'm talking about someone who has the opportunity because the team's hit with health and safety protocols, oftentimes that person also gets into health and safety protocols. So I don't know if that's going to happen. It's the type of thing where I mention it and publish the video and maybe I've jinxed it and he's out. So do check on that. Obviously this could expire and it's going to come up with someone else. Next on my list though is Isaiah Quickley. I already mentioned it when I talked about Alec Burks. Isaiah Quickley's 16% rostered. Obviously he has the same schedule as Alec Burks because they play for the same team. So he's got 3 games this week. All 3 are on good streaming days. Kemba is still playing, but Derrick Rose is out for a while now. And so Quickley's in that rotation. He's getting good minutes. He's getting good stats. Is there a particular one that's making me go, wow? No. And this seems to be a theme with what I'm bringing up this week. He had 11-3. He had 18-1-2. This is the type of box score that I look at that I rather in points league where he's contributing, but he's only rostered in 16%. So if you want to pick someone up, just like Jalen Smith, he ranks after Jalen Smith for this week. But if you want to pick him up, New York gets to play Indiana, Boston, and all on streaming days. You don't hate those matchups. You're not pumped about those matchups either. They're fine. They're middle of the road matchups. He can contribute for you. You'll easily be able to plug him in. And maybe you'll get some more out of him. I wouldn't rule that out. That Quickley can always get more minutes, but the guard rotation is a little screwy there in New York. All right, the 6th spot on my list is actually a 2-for. I put down 2 names, both for the Pelicans. So Guillermo Hernangomez, we've talked about him earlier this season. He's only rostered in 9% of leagues. And Jackson Hayes. Now, earlier this season, I was recommending Hernangomez a lot more. Jackson Hayes, I haven't seen as much of with my own eyes when watching the game where I feel like he's going to pop overall. Saying that, he just had his career high. He had 23 points and 7 rebounds with an assist and a block. Shot 75% from the floor against the Bucks. This was a really good game. He did all that in 28 minutes. So Jackson Hayes is rostered in 6%, so he's even more widely available. If you want to take the gamble on it because you've seen what Hernangomez has done before, and you know that when everyone's back, when JV's back, then he's going to fall out. Maybe Hayes can get more of a foothold. I'm not sure I believe in it, but for this week, the team's got 4 games. 2 of them are on good streaming days. I think if you need a big, here's a good way to go, but it's the same thing I said before. Because Valanciunas is in the health and safety protocols, it's not shocking when the teammates also go into there. So Jackson Hayes and Hernangomez being in the same slot in my mind is because really, you could try and pick one and hope that happens. What I want you to do is watch, and if one of their names pop up on that list, jump on the other one. That's going to give you a real opportunity, hopefully, to go. Also, there are 2 streaming days. They start the week with 3 games in 4 nights. So if you pick on one of them and miss, that's fine. You can just cut bait on it on Thursday after the game and make a pivot for someone who's playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Try and get 2 more games in there if this part isn't working out. All right, let's get to my honorable mentions here. There's a name, maybe glaring name missing from this list. Coby White is a hot pickup. He's been playing really well. I'm wearing my Bulls gear. We got DeMar DeRozan's been DeMar DeClozin, if you will. Oof. Rough pun. Anyway, luckily I got the shirt. I was thinking, man, DeRozan keeps hitting these shots. The Bulls have been fun. I don't have any DeRozan Bulls gear. He's just there. And then my brother came through for my birthday and added a new shirt to the show rotation. Actually, he had a bunch of shirts. You'll see him. Anyway, Coby White is only an honorable mention for me. I've got him as 36% rostered. I like Coby White. I like him a lot. I think he has a long future in this league as a backup point guard, kind of instant offense style guy. And he's doing well with this opportunity right now. But this opportunity right now is with Caruso and Lonzo out. The Bulls will need those guys back. They're two best perimeter defenders, and those guys are going to get those minutes. Does that mean that Kobe's going to completely drop off? No, I don't think he's going to. But Lonzo's already missed 5 games. So if he can get 2 negative tests, he's going to be back. We've got the shortened time span now, which will help us get players back. But if we're predicting when guys are going to be back, I think that actually makes it a little harder, right? As the regulation change, it's not a 10-day sitting out period. After 10 days, most guys were coming back right away. Now with, needing 5 or 6 games, and you have to be asymptomatic, and you still need the 2 negative tests, I think it's going to change a little bit. I think we're still going to see some guys at 10 games, and I just can't say where that's going to be as confidently. So I'm not sure I want to fire my shot picking up Kobe White, and then immediately ball comes back, and maybe Caruso's back from the ankle thing. Ankle or foot? I think ankle. And then he kind of falls back to earth a little bit and not be as productive for you. If you want to pick up Kobe because you think there's even more use than this week, go for it. The Bulls have 3 games this week. They're not on good streaming days. That also factored into him being on my honorable mention. But I do like the player, and if you want to go for it, I'm not going to judge you. Other guys I considered, I looked at KCP. The Wizards have a really good schedule, and by that I mean easy. They've got a good strength of schedule. They've got 4 games, but it's not a great streaming week for it. I think I like some of the other guys that I think will put up numbers that you'll actually get in your lineup a little more than I like picking up KCP for this week. And Nick Claxton's been playing really well for Brooklyn. Brooklyn only has they have 4 games, but they're not on the best streaming days. And the Nets are finally getting back to full health. 47% rostered. You can pick him up, but if he's not playing on your streaming days and he potentially has a drop off this week, I felt a little safer, go somewhere else. All of these guys are pretty far beyond the Hamidou Diallo we started the conversation with at 51% rostered. But Terrence Mann, Aaron Wiggins, I think they're just going to give you more sure thing. But if I was rating them by excitedness to see these things, Kobe White definitely sneaks up in there over some of these other guys. Wrapping up, I didn't mention the Grizzlies at all. I talked about them in the other video. I hope you watched it. I'll link to it here when I did the season preview. The Grizzlies have 5 games. They've got 3 streaming games. You're not going to be able to pick up Ja Morant or Desmond Bane. But if you want to look in your league, and if it's an exception, jump on it. They got 5 games. So your options here, Steven Adams is at 66% rostered. He's not widely available. But if he is, go ahead and grab him. He's going to play a lot. During the season earlier, I advised dropping him. But when you got 5 games and he's playing better, go for it. Along those lines, Melton's at 44% rostered. He's out right now because of health and safety protocols. But if he comes back, scoop him up. You got to keep a little track on that. If you want guys that are actually available, Tyus Jones, 8%. Brandon Clark, 7%. I think they bring more to the actual basketball team than they will to your fantasy team. Even with 5 games, I'm not sure I'm going for it. Kyle Anderson's right at 50%, so he's, he doesn't quite make this. The difference between Kyle Anderson and Clark right now, I'm not sure it's that big. If you want a guy and plug him in there, you're going to get a lot of games out of him in your weekly lock league. I think this is more valuable. You're going to get 3 streaming days out of it, but I would look some other places depending on what's available for you. But if you take a look and for some reason Desmond Bane's not rostered, or we find out after this video's out that Melton's coming back, or Dylan Brooks, they're both in health stage protocols at the moment, scoop those guys up. You would definitely want to play those guys this week. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you got questions, comments, guys I missed that you want to discuss, or maybe I intentionally skipped, go ahead and leave them down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck. Go out there and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts, and I'll be back soon with another video for you.